Today we'll be primarily looking in terms of what are the priority areas for the national exam called NEET. And I am Dr. Balachandra, and we would be previewing the subject of botany. Like in botany primarily, which is life sciences, which carries say 25% of the sort of portions for NEET. We'll be looking into what areas, what are the core areas which you need to primarily excel on to get to with relation to scoring in NEET. Like when you look down here, remember what happens is whenever we are reading life sciences, you need to have a good knowledge of diversity. Now what exactly is diversity? That is a variety and variability of life forms. So I mean the concentration should be right from the lower organisms like algae, like fungi, like bacteria, like viruses, which come under the lower order of living organisms, including the most primitive sort of plants, which are the bryophytes, pteridophytes, and gymnosperms. Why are we primarily dealing with diversity? Because evolution plays a very important role, and you should also know what are primitive and advanced characters of bryophytes, pteridophytes, and angiosperms. Having a knowledge of taxonomy, morphology, systematics is very, very important. So one priority area is diversity. The second important diversity area primarily to focus on is the morphology and anatomy of plants. So when you take morphology, study of external characters of root, stem, leaf, flower, fruit, inflorescence, and seed, and taxonomy, again are fundamental basics which you primarily would be reading, you will be learning in 8th, 9th, and 10th classes. So it is just extended to the sort of 11th class level. Along with morphology, even anatomy plays a very important role, just like we have plant anatomy. Plant anatomy deals with tissues. It deals with tissues, tissue systems. It deals with dicot, monocot, stem, root, and leaf, and also secondary growth, which is excluded now. So anatomy, morphology and anatomy is very easy to score. Even diversity is very easy to score because it's just a few examples and the sort of definitions which you got to know. And you don't have to read every nth example. It is straight focus on the NCERT book itself. The third level wherein you got maximum questions commence is in cell biology and biochemistry area. Cell biology and biochemistry comes primarily under contemporary plant sciences, that is modern plant sciences, whereas diversity, morphology, and anatomy comes under classical sciences. So this comes under modern sciences. And it forms the basic core for genetics, for molecular biology, and cell physiology. In addition to this, we also are going to be knowing about, you are going to have a good knowledge on reproduction in higher plants and reproduction in lower plants. So these are the basic priority areas which you need to focus on when we are going for NEET. And the most central questions which come in a NEET examination are from genetics. You know, genetics is a science of inheritance. Molecular biology, that is the study of the science of the structure of the DNA, the RNA, the protein, and the enzymes, which in turn is linked to the basics of cell biology. So if cell biology was at A level, and at B level we have molecular biology. In between cell biology and molecular biology, you got to have a very good, sound, clear knowledge of biochemistry. Biotechnology is one particular area from which you can get a lot of questions too. And applied biology primarily deals with conservation of plants. It deals with plant breeding. It deals with what are the uses of microbes in relation to human welfare. And it also deals with relation to primarily how plants exist in different sort of habitats. So we have again an important area is ecology. Now look through, when you're looking through all these particular things, we understand that always the core concepts, whether you're reading plant sciences, that is botany, or you're reading zoology, animal sciences, or you're reading microbiology, or you're reading human physiology, the core questions which are primarily coming in NEET are from levels of cell. What is a cell? What are molecules? What is metabolism? What are tissues? What is an organism? And what is an ecosystem? So related to these, when you're talking about these cell, molecules, metabolism, tissues, organs, and ecosystems, any student of science should have high priority for these particular areas. That is, you should know the science, you should know the concepts related to cells, molecules, metabolism, tissues, organs and ecosystems. So the core competency, where should you have your core competency? The core competency of any student preparing for a national examination is cell and molecular biology. That is, you read cell biology in the first year, you read molecular biology in the second year of the NCERT book. You read about diversity in the first year, you read about ecology in the second year NCERT book, and also you read about evolution. So it is a mix of the first year concepts and the second year concepts. Same is the case with relation to cell physiology. You read primarily, you don't read plant physiology per se, you don't read animal physiology per se, you read cell biology. So cell physiology and its biochemistry. So you like to know like what is a chloroplast, what is a mitochondria, what is respiration, what do you mean by photosynthesis. So all these primarily comes under the structure and functioning of cells. We are talking about biochemical pathways, we are dealing with relation to biochemical reactions, we are dealing with metabolism. Parallel to this, you should also have an integrated knowledge of reproduction, like you should know what are the different parts of the flower, what is the chromosome numbers of these particular plants, how are they inherited, what happens during mitosis and meiosis. That is, we are dealing with genetics, and we are dealing with, again, with a very important core area which is primarily termed as biotechnology. So biotechnology is the integrated science of biology, chemistry, physics, and also maybe microbiology and different sort of tools and techniques in modern sciences for the welfare of human beings. So at the core what happens is every student of NEET need to know at these 4 levels. From these 4 levels, 25%, 25%, 25% and 25% of the sort of questions are primarily coming in NEET. Now, how do you understand all these particular core areas? You understand the core areas if you have got a very good qualitative knowledge, not quantitative knowledge, qualitative knowledge which you get from the NCERT books. The NCERT is the core, the textbook which has been given at the national level is the core, and you've got to be very competent with relation to the sort of chapters so that you can think about them. So we require knowledge which you get from reading of books. More importantly, you get understanding which you get from attending classes. Attending classes, questioning on what, why, how, when and which is primarily understanding, and this is related to applications. So along with applications, we also have testing programs wherein you have weekly tests. Testing programs or weekly tests gives you speed, gives you precision, gives you accuracy, and gives you exactly a sort of an index of how you are reading. So what are the essentials of NEET? The most important essential for NEET, so a student who just finished the sort of a 10th, who are coming into the sort of 11th and the 12th, it need to be, all the NEET program should always be teacher facilitated. You can't be reading in isolation. It is always peer reviewed, a teacher should primarily facilitate the sort of a process of education in a child. And it requires a lot of patience from both the side of the teacher as well as the student. We require lots of patience. We require to be student need to be very prudent. Prudent means so that you have clarity of what are the right concepts, what are the wrong concepts, how fast to read, how slow to read. Which is priority, which is non-priority. A sense of discrimination should occur while you are understanding the sort of concepts in biology. Then it requires lots and lots of practice. Every day, so what happens is, you require to be streamlined on a day-to-day basis, you require to be streamlined on a weekend basis, you require to be streamlined on maybe on the quarterlies, on the half-yearlies, and the term examinations, and the pre-finals, and the grand tests. So it requires lots and lots of practice, along with a good sense of perseverance. Perseverance and passion are the key landmarks. You got to leave no stone unturned till you go for the sort of a NEET examination. And the entire concept of preparing for NEET is NCERT textbook based. You got a series of textbooks which is high priority textbooks, and it is classroom enhanced. When it comes to the subject of biology, it is okay. To a certain extent, it is memory based. So you need to recapitulate strongly on all of these particular